Hey, Taurus, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your November 2025 love reading. Now, this session is devoted entirely to self-love and inner work. Today's session, we are going to reconnect with your heart space. We're going to honor your growth and help you nurture the relationship that you have with yourself. So no matter what season of life you find yourself in at this time, whether you are in the midst of healing, perhaps you are rebuilding, you may even be expanding or remembering who you are. This moment is your invitation to return home to yourself, Taurus, to trust that everything that you've walked through has been shaping you for this next chapter. So let's dive in here and take a look at your current vibe. What is the energy surrounding the relationship that you have with yourself? You have the Three of Wands. This is a powerful energy to be in. You are in a manifesting period. Now, I feel like we're always manifesting our reality by our thoughts, by our choices, by our actions. But this tells me that you have something quite delicious that is brewing up for you. And you are guided to take the lead here. The Three of Wands is an energy here of exploration and anticipation. So there is this level of anticipation here around love. And I feel like you at times have hesitated in some capacity, or perhaps you've even felt a bit overwhelmed or even impatient, waiting for your manifestations to come to fruition. But the Three of Wands is showing up more so in its higher vibration, which tells me that love is closer than you think when it comes to relationships and partnerships, because you're already tapping into self-love and you are starting to witness love in all forms in your life, through companion animals, through your family, through friendships, through even interactions with complete strangers. You're starting to trust the process here more, because many of you have been doing some deep inner soul searching, deep inner reflection here when it comes to love. And I really see that you're in the driver's seat of your own life. You are the ultimate alchemist here, and you're trusting the process along the way. But first, you are becoming your own soulmate. So even if you are in a relationship, I feel like you are in the midst of creating a life that really aligns with your truth, that aligns with your integrity. Now, what is the hidden wound? What aspect of yourself perhaps have you been neglecting or judging? And maybe this needs a bit more compassion. Now, some of you, this is the judgment energy. So this is the energy of judging energies, perhaps harshly, or judging individuals, including yourself. And sometimes the hidden wound comes from a past experience that has been very difficult for you. When judgment shows up as a wound, this could be a past life connection here. This could even be fears around letting things go, where when we tend to hang on to pain, it creates dis-ease in the body, also known as disease. So I love that you are expanding here. You are getting back in the driver's seat of your life, because judgment tells me that there may have even been old wounds around external validation, where you may have felt judged by your circumstances or by your family or by society. But when you let go of the need to validate yourself, or the need for external, approval in some capacity, when you stop caring about what other people think and you start living your life based on your truth, that's when you fully shine. That's when you show up unapologetically yourself and you're really starting to blossom into your own. But I do see here with judgment, some of you are really working out some of the shadow kinks that are showing up here when it comes to love, because I see with the judgment here, this is a rebirth. A lot of you are currently in the midst of this spiritual rebirth, taking a look at your next move and considering where you wish to be. And part of this hidden wound is reminding you that you don't have to constantly go back into the past in order to move forward. You can learn a lot from your past because you already know what you like, what you don't like. You have learned about self-love, but I feel like you are being guided here to move forward, not to constantly focus on what had went down, what had went wrong, and old past dynamics here, old stories that have kept you stagnant or kept you in a state of opposition here. So that is something you are moving forward on. Three of Wands is forward momentum instead of feeling like you are repeating old cycles, falling back into default mode when it comes to the heart. So what is the old story here that you are being guided to release or even deepen into more self-love here? This is about reciprocity. The Six of Pentacles. One of the old stories that is played out for you, and this is still something you're working through with judgment, is you may have judged others harshly or judged yourself harshly because the energies in the physical or material world were one-sided. And when the Six of Pentacles shows up as an old story, it means that you have been working on codependent dynamics. You've been working on over giving to the point of exhaustion or losing yourself in the process. And for some of you Taurians out there, this is about establishing those healthy boundaries and knowing where to kind of draw a line in the sand. You can connect to individuals without taking on their stuff. You can connect to individuals in an independent way, but also through teamwork, through effort, and through consistency. And it feels like you have been, in most instances, the overgiver to some extent. And that may have even built resentments and judgments here. And you want a relationship to feel reciprocal. You want a relationship to feel balanced here. You want there to be an even exchange, right? I scratch your back, you scratch mine. There's no I in teamwork. And I feel like many of you would rather be alone than settle for a relationship where you feel like you are carrying the burdens of not just yourself, but another. And because judgment is coming up, which is often connected to like past life connections, some of you had a past life here, which we often do. We often carry in soul tribe, meaning more than one person in your life you've had a past life with. But for many of you, you may have played the role of parent to someone in your life who was either a lover, or this could even be, a relationship that was meant to be equal, but in a past life, it was not equal. And that has carried into this life where you felt like you've had to parent a spouse or a lover, or you felt like you had to take care of them in some capacity. And also some of you may be single parents here where you feel like, the story here is I have to do everything on my own. I don't have help. And I feel like this is something you've been releasing, even though it may be what you're going through in this cycle of your life. It doesn't have to be the cycle that plays out for you forever. And that's why the old story or wound is coming up, asking you to release this old chapter of your life. Because yes, that may have been a story. It may have been a role that you have played in order to grow, learn, evolve. It was part of the divine blueprint that you created prior to incarnating into this lifetime. But I see here there's a massive, manifestation and forward momentum taking place. So let's look at your strengths here. What strengths or qualities within you are ready to be celebrated and embraced? I love this picture of the moon, because you're confronting your shadows here. That's not always an easy thing to do. What do we do when we get scared? I don't know about you guys. When I was a little girl, right, I would hide under my covers. I would always see, I had such a vivid imagination and intertwined with my spiritual gifts. Sometimes I didn't realize what was real because there was so much destruction and shadow in my outer world that sometimes I would close my eyes and it would still be there, right? And so we don't want to confront our shadows. We want to hide underneath the covers because the boogeyman is under the bed and in the closet. We got to sleep with that nightlight. And for many of you, instead of hiding, instead of suppressing, instead of avoiding or escapism, this is about you facing your fears. And it is about you saying, wait a second. Those fears no longer hold power over me. And when you come to that awareness, you're free. And so the moon is telling me here, your greatest strength is your truth. Truth is being exposed here. Things that were hidden from view, your subconscious energies here are coming up to your conscious awareness because you are looking at something that's been difficult. And by honoring that shadow, by saying, shadow, come here, I'm going to give you a hug. I realize that you were just trying to keep me safe. I realize that, there were fears. Why? Because, I'm scared of the unknown. I'm scared of what I cannot comprehend. I may have been scared of past energies repeating itself. I may have been scared of abandonment, rejection, whatever it is, because you've gone through it in the past in some way. But you're confronting here some of your biggest fears, and I see that you're trusting your intuition above all. And when you trust your intuition, when you are living and leading from a space of heart, that is which you manifest from. That is the reality in which you manifest from. And that's what we see with that 3 of Wands. Instead of leaning into fear-based energies, instead of letting judgment take over, instead of criticizing, right? Instead of, being unable to let things go, you have the self-awareness here to confront your shadows. And that is powerful. So that is a strength that you want on your side because your intuition here is overpowering the fear. And when your intuition overpowers the fear, it's when you really step into cultivating a life that aligns with what it is that you are manifesting. It's when you start to see love flow into your outer world because there's this immense self-love, because it's difficult to trust in oneself when we are struggling to love ourselves. So how can you better nurture your emotional and spiritual needs at this time? Look at this. You have another 3. Now, first of all, 3s in numerology and in tarot connect to harmony, advancement, union, creativity, and even birth. You are being guided here to reach out, right? To reach out, to connect to others. There is a study. I was listening to this podcast the other day where there was someone that was walking around, let's say New York Square. I forget where they were, but New York Square, where they were realizing that everybody had like a smug look on their face. Like nobody was smiling. There was no eye contact. There was no interaction. And that person felt very, very depressed, very down. And then they realized it stopped them in their tracks and they're like, wait a second. Everything is a mirrored reflection. Am I opening myself up? Am I, creating the reality that I want for myself by being that energy myself? So that individual had then started to smile at every stranger that they passed. They started to lock eyes. They started to say hello. And they noticed that people started to open up, that there was more of an exchange. And that there proves that, your inner world and outer world matches. So if you are wanting connection, open up to that connection here. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Because when we are waiting for the external world to change, That's not how it works. We're going to be waiting a long time. This is about you doing that inner work. And I feel like there is harmony coming through here through collaborative efforts, connecting to your soul tribe, connecting to like-minded individuals, and even learning through cultural differences and adversity. You don't have to get along with everyone, but having that openness, having that willingness to say, okay, I can respect your side of things. I can respect your opinion, but I don't have to agree with it. But that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us different. And I see that this is where teamwork exists. This is where that teamwork, making the dream work, really shows up in a powerful way. So lean on your friends. I'm getting that song. Is it a song? I get by with a little help from my friends. So you may have a great support system or a really good friend that you can count on or rely on, or this could even be someone that you meet in the near future. And this could be connected to romantic love. It could be a bestie, but I feel like these are your people. This is your soul tribe. So reach out. Don't feel like you have to go it alone. Don't feel like you have to carry all of the weight. Ask for what you need and speak up if you feel like you are the one that's always making a call first. If you are the only one that is asking a friend to hang out, take a look at this situation and say, okay, is there an even exchange? And if not, is this where I want to continue applying my energy? Because I have the ability here to shift things up because I am in control of my emotions. I'm in control of my thoughts. I'm in control of my actions and behaviors. And I feel like you have that strength to really reflect. The moon is a reflective energy. And even though there may be uncertainties, even though there may be a little bit of a fog along the way at times, that true inner north is what is going to lead you and what is going to guide you. All right, your chakra for the month, Taurus, is the sacral chakra. The theme here is around pleasure, emotion, as well as creativity, which we see here with all of the threes. Self-love here means honoring your feelings without shame and allowing joy, allowing passion, and allowing play to flow freely through you. That is important for you this month. It's important for you all the time, but especially this month. Lean into the sacral chakra. And lastly, what is the final message here from your higher self? You have mirror. Treat your body like the palace it is. Number 4 coming through here. You've been feeling self-conscious as of late, but the answer isn't to change anything about yourself. The answer is to learn to love the body you've been given. Avoid those crash diets, that extreme exercise, or any other unhealthy behavior. Take strides toward a healthy mindset that accepts yourself as you are, not what you feel pressured to be. Now, it doesn't mean, go on a binger and eat all the unhealthy foods and all of that, right? But it means, it starts within. That self-love. And sometimes we talked about that with judgment. Sometimes we hang on so much to external pressures. It says it perfectly here. Not what you feel pressured to be. And that takes place in all areas of your life. But in this context, treat your body like the palace it is. And many of you are finding that by eating healthier or just tuning into your body is going to let you know what it needs. Perhaps your body needs a little rest. Maybe you need to soak in a hot bath, or maybe you are guided to drink a little more water, stay more hydrated. Maybe you want to eat that cupcake, right? Maybe you want to binge watch your favorite show. Allow yourself to do as you wish, do as you please, without letting that self-criticism and that judgment come up, because that is so damaging. You are a king or a queen. It is time for you to honor that energy within. That is what I have for you, Taurus. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed the reading, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. And if you are interested in a personal reading or signing up for the monthly newsletter, you can find that information in the description box below or by visiting intuitivesoulcoach.com.